what even is an NHL dynasty? When you attempt to define or utilize the term in itself, things can get messy, and I recently discovered this for myself. In one of our recent videos, we explored Stan Bowman's tenure as general manager of the Chicago Blackhawks, and in that video, I referred to their 2010 to 2015 era as a dynasty. Within 24 hours of publishing that piece, people started taking exception to that claim. Some are adamant that a dynasty is defined by at least 3 championships in a 4-year window. Others believe it is essential that a team wins 3 consecutive titles. But those beliefs weren't built for the modern NHL. In today's video, we are going to talk dynasties, analyzing the evolving definition of sustained success at the NHL level. The word dynasty is derived from the Greek word dynastia, fundamentally meaning power, lordship, or sovereignty. Sometime in the 15th century, the English adaptation of the word started circulating in published works, but with a somewhat different meaning, generally being used in reference to a government or ruler. As centuries passed, the word again evolved with different meanings, defined as a line of hereditary rulers or a succession of people from the same family who play a prominent role in business, politics, or another field. As these definitions rose to prominence, the term was eventually adapted with figurative meaning for the world of professional sports. Through this lens, it is loosely defined with variety, but in a nutshell, it's a sports franchise which has a prolonged run of successful seasons. Some defining bodies attempt to specify the terms of success and time required to meet the definition, but almost all of these are followed with a disclaimer of sorts, acknowledging the role that subjectivity plays in interpreting the word. So let's talk about its historical context in hockey. At the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto, 9 NHL rosters are included as part of the Hall's dynasty display. Ottawa, Toronto, Detroit, Montreal, the New York Islanders, and Edmonton Oilers are highlighted here, with the Habs and Leafs holding multiple displays for different eras. The oldest listed dynasty belongs to the original Ottawa Senators, who won 4 Stanley Cups from 1919 to 1927. The most recently listed dynasty belongs to the Edmonton Oilers, who won 5 Stanley Cups from 1983 to 1990. While some might treat this display as a definitive account of all the league's dynasties, that opinion fails to account for the evolution of the sport. Since the New York Islanders won 4 consecutive Stanley Cups from 1979 to 1983, not a single NHL franchise has won more than 2 cups in a row. This leads us to our next portion of the video. The NHL holds its own history in high regard, and there's nothing wrong with that, but the game has changed. The league is bigger than ever before, housing 32 teams. Players are more skilled and physically capable than at any other point in NHL history, and franchises are restricted in their ability to bolster their teams thanks to the implementation of the salary cap. As a result of all these factors and more, there is greater parity in the NHL than at any other point in league history. In ways, the salary cap can be interpreted as a measure that was taken in an attempt to prevent stretches of dominance equivalent to what was seen in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Winning is harder, but dynasties aren't dead. They merely appear in a different form. Since the Oilers' run of championships that ended in 1990, only 2 NHL teams have won 3 Stanley Cups in a 6-year window: the Detroit Red Wings and Chicago Blackhawks. The Red Wings took their run even further, winning 4 Stanley Cups in a 11-season stretch. To me and many others, they are a dynasty, and I think the same title is both fitting and appropriate for the 2010s Blackhawks. They are both era-defining teams that accomplish stretches of dominance unparalleled by the teams around them. Like many other words, dynasty and its meaning have evolved over time. So why would this be any different when considering its definition in relation to hockey? The term obviously applies to other sports as well, and to some extent, I think the definition of the term is different depending on the game. But sticking to hockey, if an NHL team ever wins 4 consecutive Stanley Cups again, it will be a completely different accomplishment than when the Islanders hit that mark in the 1980s. Statistics and accomplishments are not defined in themselves, but also by the circumstances that complemented their occurrence. I am not attempting to place any kind of asterisks on any dynasty or championship. I am instead arguing that dynasties are not defined by numbers. They are shaped by context, competition, and the standards of success in different eras. For Happening Hockey, I'm Tate Lakecraft.
Well, Chicago, that's 3 cups and 6 seasons. I'd say you have a dynasty.